Europe just signed its first contracts to grow independent launch capability, while Venus clouds keep hiding an unknown absorber that has puzzled scientists for a century. This is Fascinating Frontiers, episode 174. The European Space Agency has signed the initial contracts under its European Launcher Challenge. These agreements support emerging launch providers in scaling operations. The goal is to strengthen Europe's independent access to space and increase overall resilience. Contracts focus on capability development for new vehicles. Officials describe the step as opening a new chapter for European launchers. Follow-on selections will expand the provider base further. Now, on a completely different note, ultraviolet images of Venus revealed dark and bright patterns in the upper sulfuric acid clouds. These markings have been observed for roughly a century, yet the chemical identity of the responsible material remains unknown. The absorber appears exceptionally strong in the ultraviolet. Researchers continue to examine possible candidates without a confirmed match. New observations may narrow the list of candidate compounds. The absorber influences how much sunlight the planet reflects and therefore affects global energy balance. As we wait for future missions to solve that puzzle, a powerful new telescope is about to ride one of the most visible rockets in recent memory. SpaceX is preparing a Falcon Heavy launch from Pad 39A that could be widely visible across Florida. The mission will carry NASA's Nancy Grace Roman Space Telescope. Rare heavy lift flights from the pad draw attention because of the dual booster returns. Weather and trajectory details will determine viewing opportunities for residents. Launch timing remains scheduled for the coming weekend. While Florida watches a heavy lift liftoff, Europe's newest rocket is also preparing for its next mission. Europe's Ariane 6 rocket is set to lift the Meteosat third-generation Imager 2 satellite today. The satellite will provide enhanced weather monitoring for Europe and Africa. Live coverage is available for the evening liftoff from French Guiana. The mission marks continued use of the new Ariane 6 vehicle. Ground teams have completed encapsulation and pad operations. The Meteosat third-generation Imager 2 satellite sits encapsulated inside the Ariane 6 fairing. It is positioned on the launch pad at Europe's spaceport in French Guiana. Liftoff is planned for the evening of August 27. The satellite will deliver next-generation meteorological imagery once in geostationary orbit. From operational launches to long-term planning, Houston is positioning itself as host for a major future gathering. Houston is actively bidding to host the International Astronautical Congress in 2029. City officials met with International Astronautical Federation representatives at a recent AIAA lunch. The timing aligns with the 60th anniversary of Apollo 11. Bringing the world's largest space conference to Space City would highlight ongoing local contributions to human spaceflight. Organizers see the anniversary as a natural draw for global attendance. Next steps involve formal proposal review by IAF leadership. Local aerospace groups are emphasizing the 60th anniversary of Apollo 11 in their 2029 IAC bid materials. The proposal positions Houston as a natural host given its historical and current role in human spaceflight. IAF officials attended recent planning discussions. While crews train for deep space, researchers are studying how those same environments affect the human body. Researchers are continuing a project that flew initial samples 2 years ago to study spaceflight effects on women's health. The current phase focuses on how microgravity and altered gravity influence female physiology. Longer missions make these questions more pressing for deep space planning. Data collection includes cellular and systemic responses. Looking even farther ahead, one proposal suggests letting natural selection help create sustainable habitats on the Moon or Mars. A detailed proposal outlines sealing thousands of glass vessels containing Earth soil plants and organisms. Vessels would undergo repeated selection cycles under simulated destination conditions. Successful lineages would be scaled and paired before transport. The approach relies on guided natural selection rather than direct engineering of closed systems. Timeline estimates span 1 to 2 decades of ground testing. Before we close this episode, a quick note on a piece of Space Center history being remembered this week. NASA is remembering Dolly Parton's 1989 performance at Johnson Space Center's Rocket Park. She joined Willie Nelson and Kenny Rogers before an audience of over 12,000 employees and families. The event is being recalled following Parton's passing on August 25th. Organizers note the concert's place in agency history. The tribute highlights how space centers have long served as community gathering points. The European Space Agency has released the Expedition Sound podcast series. Episodes use sonifications of data from ESA space telescopes to explore the universe through sound. Host Zofie Salivari guides listeners from the sun outward. The series translates mission data into audible experiences. Expedition Sound converts telescope observations into sound for public exploration. Episodes cover data from multiple ESA science missions. The series aims to make complex astronomical datasets accessible through audio translation. On August 27, 2003, Earth and Mars aligned with the Sun, placing Mars at opposition. At that geometry, Mars also reached its closest approach to Earth for the cycle. Such oppositions occur roughly every 26 months. The 2003 event brought Mars unusually near, allowing detailed ground-based study. Observers used the geometry to examine surface features and atmospheric changes. Venus's upper cloud deck races around the planet in just 4 Earth days at speeds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour, a circulation so rapid it would carry a parcel of air from one side of North America to the other in under an hour. Picture riding a high-altitude balloon caught in that jet. The landscape below would blur past while the sun rises and sets twice in a single Earth day. The unknown absorber sits within those fast-moving sulfuric acid droplets and removes far more ultraviolet light than any known constituent can explain. Laboratory recreations and spacecraft spectra have tested dozens of candidates, yet none reproduce the exact absorption profile seen from orbit. The open question is whether the absorber is a single undiscovered molecule, a mixture whose signature only appears under Venus conditions, or something produced continuously by an unknown photochemical pathway. We can measure its effect on reflected sunlight across wide wavelength ranges, but the precise identity and formation process remain hidden even after decades of targeted observations. New missions and old puzzles both keep revealing how much remains to be understood beyond our atmosphere. Keep an eye on hardware checks ahead of the next Artemis crewed flight around the moon. That covers today's space and science news. Share this with a fellow space enthusiast if you found it interesting. I'm Patrick in Vancouver. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NERA Network. Links in the show notes. One more thing, if you liked today's episode, our sister show First Principles Daily is worth a spot in your feed. Reasoning from raw materials, not analogy, on the breakthroughs that actually cut cost. It's one of the NERA Network's daily briefings, all free at neranetwork.com. Prefer reading? Today's full write-up, sources, and transcript are on the episode blog at neranetwork.com. Same briefing, readable format. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.